Greetings and salutations. Welcome to The Jolt. This is my little YouTube channel that coincides with my personal blog, thejolt.net. My name is Jeff. Good evening. This evening, I'd like to discuss one of my most recent articles on The Jolt pertaining to Part 2 of the U.S. Air Force's telemetry site construction. Some interesting things that I've discovered that I wanted to share with everyone. If you're not familiar with it, I'm going to give you a brief overview of what it is. So, real quick, I live here in Florida along the coast. Most of you who know me know that. And around dead center of the Florida Peninsula on the Gulf side, the Air Force is building a new telemetry site. It's a radar station known as a RT&T test facility. And it's about 100-foot tall, 30-foot wide diameter radar dome, several auxiliary towers. I had the benefit of having privy information and discussed this project with the project engineer, because in my career I work in the local building department and oversee the plan review team that does all the plans examination prior to permit issuance. So I was talking to the project engineer, and he was showing me some of the preliminary drawings several months ago, and honestly I was quite astonished to see that this was going in our neck of the woods, right on the coast. It's very interesting because it's a big boating area. A lot of, there's a beautiful park there and Anclote Keys right there. Anyway, but I looked at it. I said, man, I said, that's some pretty hefty equipment. And half jokingly, I said to him, I said, this must be because of all the UAP and UFO activity that we've had around our coastlines. And he said, you got it. And if you're interested in that information, you'd be interested to know that this facility is being manned and operated by Eglin Air Force Base, not MacDill. MacDill Air Force Base is a local Air Force base here in the Tampa Bay area, also happens to be Central Command. But they're not involved with this particular site. And it did pique my interest. Now, was he joking? I don't know. He sounded very matter-of-fact to me when he said that statement. So, anyway, moving forward, what I want to do is I want to go over some of the information that I found, because there's some interesting players involved in this, and there's interesting connections and other things that have happened since this particular contract was awarded. So I want to show you that. So let's share a screen here. Let me share a screen. Bear with me. And we are going to share thejolt.net. Welcome. There's the site. So I encourage you to please go to thejolt.net and read some of these stories and articles that I wrote, because I think some of them are quite interesting and perhaps even mentally stimulating, and I would love to hear some feedback. Anyway, this is the one that I want to discuss this evening. The U.S. Air Force new telemetry site, Part 2, the major players. And that dome, as you saw there, was what this particular dome looks like. I'm not going to read this verbatim. What I want to do is I want to kind of walk through and show you some of the key aspects and some of the really neat meat and potatoes, so to say, of what I found. So as I stated earlier, the site was called an RT&T test site. And the important thing to understand is what RT&T stands for. It's the company Reliance Test and Technology. And there's a link here to go to their website. You can go there and read in depth about them, their contracts, and what they do. The interesting thing about RT&T is that it was formed in 2015. Okay, that's an important date to understand. So here's the gist, and this is from their website. Reliance Test and Technology, RT&T, provides engineering and technical support to the Eglin Test and Training Range Complex, which we're going to talk about. That range complex is here in Florida in the Gulf of Mexico, and the National Radar Cross-Section Test Facility for the Air Force under the Eglin Operation and Maintenance Services Contract, better known as EOMS. It's interesting, but here's what I want to really look at. So this RT&T, Reliance Testing Technology, again, it was only formed, in 2015, right? It was a joint venture between Indyne and Amentum. Together, we develop and maintain realistic, integrated test and training environments. We prepare our nation's warfighting aircraft, weapons systems, and air crews for today's missions and tomorrow's global challenges. That's what RT&T does, okay? But Indyne and Amentum, they've been around for a while. Okay, and we're going to go into that for a little bit. RT&T specializes in development and testing of new and refined war fighting equipment. Develop and test and refined war fighting equipment. Develop and test. Maintain integrated test and training range environments. Develop and modify tactics to successfully employ that equipment and train warriors to use their sophisticated equipment and tactics to be successful in battle. Okay, so right off the bat, they're very lucrative in what they do. And again, formed in 2015 by who? Indyne. Okay, Indyne is a major military contractor. You know, again, they specialize in ranges and test evaluation, engineering. I mean, there is just so much that they do. And oh god, hold on, I want to get to the other one. The other one's even more intriguing. Indyne is almost like a bigger variant of RT&T, but they've been around for a while and much better connected. This is from their website, from Indyne's website. Integrated, scalable, and robust processes and tool sets for engineering, operations, maintenance, sustainment, and program management, which can be tailored for use on any technical service contract. Our processes and tool sets have proven highly successful in a wide range of technology and service applications, from aging legacy analog systems to state-of-the-art sensor and signal processing technology. And look at who their key customers are: the Department of the Air Force, the Department of the Army, Department of the Navy, Missile Defense Agency, NASA, and the Department of State. Don't tell me they're not connected. Now, moving to RT's other affiliate, Amentum. This is another very lucrative and very connected company. They're embedded into military, nuclear, environmental services for the U.S. government. One of their projects happens to be at Los Alamos. And we're going to talk about that. So look at everything that they've done at Los Alamos. Amentum successfully led and staffed readiness assessments, contractor readiness assessments, independent verification reviews, federal readiness assessments for the plutonium processing facility, the chemistry and metallurgy research facility, weapons engineering, titanium facility, blah, 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 blah. This includes operations, engineering, maintenance, environmental, emergency preparedness, fire protection, quality assurance, radiological control, management, safety, training and procedures, transportation, waste management, and nuclear safety, nuclear safety and critically readiness and preparation for startup through the performance of more than 15 formal readiness assessments for key weapons processing facilities. So it sounds to me like they're really in the QC area, the quality control area at Los Alamos. So you have these two in July 2015. Indyne and Amentum joined forces to create RT&T. July 2015. Then February of 2016, not even a year later, surprise, RT&T was awarded that EOMS contract. And here's a snippet from the press release. Indyne, the senior partner of Reliance Test and RT&T, blah, 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 blah. They've been awarded this contract. RT&T is headquartered in Fort Walton Beach and will have operating locations in Eglin Air Force Base, Florida, Holloman Air Force Base, New Mexico, and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. How strategic. And remember, Amentum, one of the creators of RT&T, does what? Quality control and readiness preparedness at Los Alamos? Okay. So the United States Air Force Air Force Material Command, Air Force Test Center, 96th Test Wing, awarded the EOMS contract to RT&T on February 11, 2016. The selection criteria for RT&T included demonstrating an ability to innovatively steward major changes on the test ranges via continuous improvement, restructuring, and other cost-saving measures. The contract will provide blah, blah, blah. The National Radar Cross-Section, yada, 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 and secure radar cross-section and antenna test data to the Department of Defense and industry low observable and electronic combat communities. So, to me, there's some interesting players there and interesting connections there. And one thing I always say about the military, folks, is this is what's overt. This is the things that we can see. And I'm going to show you more of that a little bit. But when it comes to the military, the overt is a necessary byproduct of the covert. They have to have something released for public record. Okay? So remember that. The overt is a byproduct of the covert. All right. Let's see. This is a subsidiary. This is a subcontractor working under RT&T with this EOMS contract. Okay, this Eglin contract. SA Tech. SA Tech is another governmental subcontractor, very well connected and established. Their customer, Air Force, is the Air Force Test Center under Reliance Test and Technology. And here, I want to read this. SA Tech is a major subcontractor to RT&T on the EOMS contract at Eglin Air Force Base, providing 4 main areas of range operations and maintenance, marine operations, O&M, and engineering support for all remote-controlled foreign military equipment, land targets and sea targets, electronic warfare, EW systems, or electronic warfare systems, and associated range instrumentation systems. Research and development, blah, blah, blah. I thought there was something more. Eglin, this, that, and the other thing. Aha. SA Tech conducts concurrent land operations on Eglin, okay, in the Eglin Gulf Range, along the, also all the way, plus deployed train, this is it, plus deployed training missions outside of the Eglin test range along the Texas coastline and Key West. Okay, so that means that they're covering the Florida coast and the Texas coast, and the Florida Panhandle goes all the way up to where Eglin is, which is where almost up to New Orleans, up in the Panhandle there. And then they're also spreading that through this subcontractor, through this contract, all the way around Texas as well. Corrective and depot marine vessel. I mean, they're just involved in all sorts of different aspects of what I would consider to be very interesting with my UFO goggles on. Okay. Seaborne target recovery. Ooh, seaborne target recovery. I wonder what they're going to shoot down. There's just so much. I encourage you to read this. You know, get on the website, read, thejolt.net, and read this in its entirety. But I want to get into something a little bit more. This is it right here. 2020. Okay, don't look. So remember, we're talking about a company that was formed in 2015, RT&T, won that Eglin Air Force Base contract in 2016, and that's the one just now in 2021 that I am in the process of assisting with the permitting of one of these telemetry sites. So 5 years after the contract was awarded, they're still constructing and expanding what their contract entail or causes them to do. Now, September 8th, 2020, Reliance Test and Technology selected for key U.S. Navy contract in Maryland. Okay, let's check this out, folks. Remember the Navy's involvement with UAP activity. Okay. The U.S. Navy has selected RT&T, a joint venture of Indyne and Amentum, who together bring decades of experience in major range and test facility base activities to perform Atlantic Range Technical Support Services for the Naval Air Warfare Center Aircraft Division, headquartered in Patuxent River, Maryland, with locations in, here we go, Maryland, Virginia, and California. So, where were all of these major UAP videos and activity reported? All the major UAP activities reported by the U.S. Navy, where the videos were taken. Well, we got the Nimitz encounter off the coast of California in 2004. We have the Go Fast off of Jacksonville, Florida, and then we have the Gimbal off of Virginia. And look who is in the middle of it. RT&T. They are in the middle of this expansion between several different armed forces, the Air Force and the Navy, in very lucrative expansions of testing, systems, and you name it. So what I want to show you now is this. And you know what I'm going to do is, can I blow this up here? Let me see if you can see this. So basically what you're seeing here is Eglin Air Force Base is up here. This was the whole Eglin Gulf test range, which I kind of find interesting. I live right. Here's Tampa Bay. I live right here. This is where the test site's going. There's the Anclote Key test site. So this is the proposed. You can see how limited some of these test ranges are in the current operations example. And then this was the planned future operations. Well, bam! Look at all that stuff. So look, you got telemetry sites, new radar sites here, which is the one that I'm dealing with at Anclote Key, here, and then all the way down here in the Keys to monitor all of this testing area for missile defenses, new defenses, drone swarming, weapon systems are going to be tested. There's a lot of interesting things here. And again, that's what's overt. The overt is always a byproduct of the covert. So I just find this whole thing very interesting. I would, again, I encourage you to read up on it. And the other aspect is if it's true that what the armed forces are doing between the Navy and the Air Force is beefing up testing operations, live testing operations in our waters off of Florida, off of Virginia, off of California, what that says to me is that they're amping up their technology, their technical capabilities, and they're going out to disturb the nest. Because even Lou Elizondo had mentioned, or was it Lou and Jeremy Corbell both, mentioned the fact that, the Navy could, allegedly, that maybe the Navy were going out there and conducting things to try to entice more encounters. Well, guess what? I think there's a planned effort to do so, and I think that this information that I presented is leading right to it. So, interesting. So what do you think? Let me know what you think. Please drop me a comment, hit subscribe, hit the like button. I only got 24 followers, for God's sakes, but but in all seriousness though, I'm not about followers. I don't really care. I just want to get the word out because I think it's interesting. I think it's neat. Now, having said this, I don't want this to shadow what's going on in the bigger picture, because you as well as I know that we cannot leave this in the hands of the government. We're never going to get full disclosure. So I am very grateful for the folks at UAPX, okay, Gary Voorhees, Kevin Day, Jeremy McGowan, and the rest. I cannot wait for their documentary to come out. That is the most successful grassroots story that you could possibly get when it comes to UAP engagement, research, and detection, and getting that out to the public, because they are not bound by government bureaucracy, okay, and classified statuses. Also, the Galileo project. I'm looking forward to Avi Loeb and his team to see what they come up with. Those are the types of things that are really going to help us get to where we need to be. In addition to that, we also have, the the CE5 movement that is still going on and expanding. Contractor, just follow them on Instagram. I mean, they're just doing phenomenal things, getting the individual human to do what they can to try to interact and observe, the activity. So a lot of stuff going on. The future is bright, folks. I'm very excited. I don't know about you, but anyway, I appreciate you listening. Again, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. And until next time, this is Jeff from the Jolt.